The PDP is demanding access to all documents and machines used for the presidential election in compliance. Now, the party is also calling for the resignation of INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu. PDP chieftain Bode George joins us now. Good to see you and thanks for your time. Mr. Bode George, quickly here, your party is also going into an election in Lagos State, which many would want to, first of all, establish what you think of that particular election that is coming for your party in Lagos.
Yes. Our party is still discussing with all the other, other political parties with a view to ensuring that the wind of change, we should join the wind of change blowing into the right direction. And like an old sailor, you know, the first lesson you learn when you join the Navy is that you don't swim against the tide. There's some movement that is going in the right direction, and we want to be part of it. So our people are discussing, hopefully, before the next elections, we will come to a final decision. That's in Lagos. Yeah.
The party is discussing exactly with whom, and what are some of the details that you can let out, you know, for us to go home with, so to speak. What exactly is the level of discussion? In what specific areas?
The level of discussion is cooperation on the issue of governorship. All the other state assemblies, we will compete as parties. But the issue of governorship with one or two other political parties to see how we can present a common front. Because if you have, like we have a saying in my part of the world, that in other words, you cannot lift a load with just one hand. And since we have a monster that we have to work against in Lagos, a divided house will be a defeated house. So we're working out a scenario where we will see create a synergy where the people of Lagos will be happy. And at the same time, we have to respect the rules of each political party. And but all other members of our party who are competing at the state assembly positions will remain PDP competitors. But the issue of the national, the governorship issue, we join hands with some others and then see how best we can present a common front to get rid of that monster that has ravaged this state for 25 years.
Of the need for collaboration and for fence mending.
Absolutely.
Do you feel justified that Atiku Abubakar lost this election owing to the fact that the integrity group, which you actually wanted, you know, some kind of fence mending, didn't hold before the election?
It's a pity, but you know, as an old hand in this party, the post-mortem analysis will come after. There's definitely will be a need for us to meet again to find out what actually happened, who did what, who was right, who was wrong, what necessitated the division that some of us cried so loudly about, that please, let's go on the path of honor as created by the founding fathers of the party. I think at the end of the day, of course, we're still in court, we're checking, we're doing this, we're doing that. We will do that. But at the end, there must be a post-mortem analysis. Because if you don't do a proper analysis of what happened, then you are bound to repeat the same mistakes in the future. And we must avoid that. Democracy, nation building is not a 100-meter dash race. It takes time. But if you are prone to learning and correcting the mistakes you have made, you are bound to grow. But if you think you have no mistakes, you don't want to bother about it, you will learn more lessons which you wouldn't like. So I am not going to go into depth about what we are going to discuss, which way. By the time we finish the discussions, we will come back to the public, because you can see that it is not only party card-carrying members who go out to vote. The larger electorate, the members who go and vote, they are not card-carrying members of the party. They want to be convinced. They want to know. They want to trust whoever they want to vote for. Is he respectable? Is he responsible? Is he reliable? Is he dependable? Would he be able to manage the resources of the land for their benefit, instead of managing the resources of the land for his own benefit? These are things that should concern all political parties, and we are growing. And I have no doubt in my mind that we will get there. We'll get there.
Indeed, and only recently, I'd like you to expatiate on this statement that you were quoted as saying that you are ashamed of being a Nigerian. I'd like you to clarify what you mean by that. And this appeal court allowing INEC to reconfigure the BVAS machine against the position of your party and, of course, the Labour Party and maybe a few other parties, and the postponement of the governorship election. What's your position on all this?
You know, first of all, I want to make a statement to our country. I served in the military and got to the rank of a general. Anything worth doing should be worth doing well. Last week, Saturday, was a shock to me as a Nigerian, in particular as an electronic engineer of 53 years in active practice. Now, the chairman of the INEC came up and said there was an hitch, some hitch, that disrupted the electronic transfer of results. An hitch in a digital system? Absolutely shambolic and laughable. I thought, if I was not an engineer, I probably would buy into it. And I said to myself, I want to forgive him because Prof is an expert in history. And he went to the best schools in this country. University of Ahmadu Bello, and then went to Oxford and Cambridge. What else would you want? If he was working for a private company on the D-Day and the H-hour, the system you are presenting to the stakeholders and the shareholders, he would have been fired. The worst part of it, because I've asked this question before, who is the man in charge of the IT? We have now discovered that he was, first of all, a commissioner in Lagos State, Commissioner of Science and Technology. His name is Femi Odubiyi. He is the man in charge of the IT of INEC. How did he become commissioner in Lagos? Who put him there? And then who put him in the INEC? Now, if Prof. Yakubu had concluded that there was some hitch, why is that man still there? Look, we are toying with the future of this country. We are toying with the future of our own children. Somebody was there on the D-Day and the H hour. In the military, he would have been executed for such misbehavior. And now, you want to re-inspect the divas. The same man. You haven't told us what were these hitches, what created them, what caused them, and he's still sitting down there. It is not the prof that should be fired. If they fire, you see, if the chairman cannot fire that fellow, then the chairman and himself, the government must fire both of them.
Okay, Chief George, let me bring in another aspect. I don't mean to cut you there, but your facts and the name, so you have your facts, and I'm quite sure INEC and the authorities, you must be able to also pass on that very vital information to them so that they can act on that. But quickly here, the elections are upon us here, especially. Let's talk about your home state, Lagos State. Tell us the optics with Bode Road's, Vivor's governorship bid in Lagos. Is it safe for us to say GRV is your anointed candidate?
I have only one vote. I am not an emperor. I'm not God. And I'm not a soothsayer. I don't look at crystal balls. But when you see a wind of change blowing in a positive direction, one lesson I learned once I joined the Navy is don't swim against the tide. I had said it before that the best thing we can do, what are the differences with the political parties? Are there ideological differences? And I said it, remove the facade, of the parties. Bring out the individuals, their personalities. Check them one by one. Who can be trusted? Who has the depth of intelligence, educational background, proper home bringing, who has performed in his private enterprises to be governor.
I'm afraid we're out of time. But Nigerians are watching all over the world, and they are worried because you had said should Bola Tinubu win the election, you were going to leave us. Are you leaving the country?
On course.
If Bola Tinubu wins this election through, in fact, you are just still saying it. We are doubting now with all the figures and the ups and downs that are going on. Is it defined? We told you that the man who is in charge of the IT was the fellow who worked under his government in Lagos. And that's the man who has pronounced that there was an itch, some ditch in the computer. Right. The man is still sitting down there. Let's wake up in this country, for God's sake.
Okay, so your plan to leave the country
if that is the way they want it,
I
will go out.
Yeah, Chief Bode George, are you still leaving the country?
If I am going to leave the country, it's at my own behest.
Absolutely, we'll have to live with that.
I'm almost close to 80 years. I'm almost going to be 80 years now. If you don't handle it well, I will still get out of this country.
Thank you very
I've
much.
served my nation.
Thank you very much, Chief Bode George, former PDP chairman, Southwest. Thank you very much for joining.